The true meaning of strength. Strength. It's a word that echoes through human history, a virtue admired and desired, yet so often misunderstood. Society paints strength as physical prowess, as the ability to conquer, dominate, and resist. But when you peel away the layers, what does being strong truly mean? Is it found in the clenched fists of a fighter, in the stern face of someone who never cries, or in the silence of someone who endures pain without complaint? Or does strength reside elsewhere, hidden, subtle, and overlooked? Today, let's take a journey into understanding what being a strong person really means. A journey that isn't about muscle or ego, but about resilience, authenticity, and the quiet power of the human spirit. The first misconception about strength is that it lies in resistance. Resistance to change, resistance to pain, or resistance to what we fear. But consider this: resistance is exhausting. Like a river flowing against a rock, resistance wears you down. True strength, paradoxically, comes from acceptance. Alan Watts, the philosopher known for making Eastern wisdom accessible to the Western mind, once said, "Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone." Strength is like that. It isn't about fighting the mud, stirring it endlessly in an attempt to clean it. It's about letting go and allowing clarity to arise naturally. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. It means saying, "This is my starting point," rather than, "This shouldn't be happening." Think about the strongest people you know. Chances are, they're the ones who can face their reality head-on, whether it's a loss, a failure, or a fear, and make peace with it. What if strength wasn't about building walls, but about breaking them down? Brené Brown, a researcher on vulnerability and courage, calls vulnerability the birthplace of love, belonging, and joy. Yet, society tells us that vulnerability is weakness, that to show your true self is to expose your flaws. But consider this: is it not stronger to say, "I need help," than to pretend you don't? Is it not braver to open your heart, knowing it might break, than to keep it locked away out of fear? The strong person cries when they need to, admits when they're wrong, and loves fully despite the risks. They know that being human means embracing imperfection. Alan Watts put it beautifully: "You're under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago." Strength is the courage to evolve, to change your mind, and to admit you don't have all the answers. It's not about pretending to be invincible. It's about being authentic. Strength is often portrayed as all or nothing. You're either strong or weak, brave or scared, successful or a failure. But life isn't binary. Life is a dance of opposites, and true strength lies in balance. Imagine a tree swaying in the wind. Its strength doesn't come from rigid resistance. It comes from flexibility, from knowing when to bend and when to stand firm. In your own life, strength is finding balance between action and stillness, knowing when to act and when to pause, speaking and listening, having the voice to express yourself, but also the humility to hear others, giving and receiving, offering kindness, but also allowing others to help you. Alan Watts often spoke of the Taoist principle of yin and yang, the interplay of opposites that creates harmony. He reminded us that strength isn't found in choosing one extreme, but in embracing the whole. Why do we hold on so tightly? To people, to identities, to outcomes? We often think that holding on is strength, that if we cling hard enough, we won't lose what matters. But life is impermanent. The harder we grip, the more we suffer. True strength lies in letting go, not out of despair, but out of trust. Trust that what's meant for you will stay, and what isn't will leave to make room for something better. Alan Watts described it as the art of waking up to life. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. When you let go, you free yourself from the chains of expectation and control. You allow life to unfold naturally, without resistance. Think about the times in your life when you felt the most free. Chances are, it wasn't when you were clinging, but when you released the weight you were carrying. We often associate strength with toughness, with the ability to push through pain and endure hardship. But what about kindness? What about gentleness? Strength is found in compassion, not only for others, but also for yourself. When you're kind to yourself, you acknowledge your humanity. You give yourself permission to rest, to heal, and to grow. And when you're kind to others, you create space for connection, understanding, and love. Alan Watts once said, "The more a thing tends to be permanent, the more it tends to be lifeless." Compassion is alive. It's dynamic. It flows from the realization that we're all in this together, that every person you meet is carrying their own struggles, just as you are. The strongest people are those who can see the pain in someone else's eyes and offer them kindness. How often do we live in the past, replaying old memories, or in the future, worrying about what's to come? Strength is the ability to be here, now. It's not easy. The present moment can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it's also the only place where life exists. Alan Watts was a master of teaching presence. He reminded us that you can't live at all unless you can live fully now. The strong person doesn't escape into distraction or numbness. They face the moment as it is, whether it's joyful, mundane, or heartbreaking. They know that even the hardest moments are part of the tapestry of life. Finally, strength is knowing that you are enough, not because of what you achieve, how you look, or what others think of you, but because of who you are. In a world that constantly tells you to be more, do more, and have more, it takes courage to say, "I am enough." Alan Watts challenged us to see through the illusion of comparison and striving. He said, "Stop measuring days by degree of productivity and start experiencing them by degree of presence." Being strong doesn't mean proving yourself. It means knowing your worth, regardless of external validation. It means embracing acceptance over resistance, vulnerability over ego, balance over extremes, and compassion over judgment. It means letting go, being present, and knowing that you are enough, just as you are. Strength isn't loud. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It's quiet, steady, and rooted in authenticity. As you go through life, remember, strength is already within you. It's in every moment you choose to keep going, to show kindness, to love, to forgive, and to grow.